Eco 102. Welcome to study session 4, Monetary Policy and Economic Activity. Introduction. This study session focuses on money and its importance in the economy. Money plays an important role in the economy, even though the role it plays is controversial. On one hand, money allows those who have it to buy goods and services, which imply that the more money one has, the greater the amount of goods and services he or she can buy. On the other hand, the amount of money does not guarantee the volume of goods and services to be purchased. This is because the total amount of goods and services available for everyone to buy depends on the total output produced and not on the amount of money. To this end, it is important to understand the concept of money. Why is money necessary in the first place? How does money evolve? And what are the monetary policies? And how can the usage of each one affect economic activity? Learning outcomes. When you have studied this session, you should be able to discuss the concept of money, highlight the functions of money in the economy, outline how money is supplied into the economy, the meaning of money, definition of money. Money can be defined as any item that is generally accepted as a medium of exchange in an economy. When we say medium of exchange, we are referring to anything that will be widely or generally accepted in a community, society, or specifically a country in exchange for goods and services. This definition, incidentally, is the primary function of money. In a loose language, money can be defined as anything, object, that is accepted either by law, constitution, or decree, and generally recognized by a sovereign country as a means through which goods and services can be exchanged. Functions of money. Money performs many functions, but the most important ones are listed below. Medium of exchange, store of value, unit of payment. Medium of exchange. Consider a country where 3 people live but no money. How would each person get what he needs? Perhaps he will have to possess what one of the rest needs, and at the same time, that person will possess what he needs. This was exactly the means of exchange in the olden days. In such a system, it is clear that exchange becomes cumbersome as population increases, and this may even lead to frustration. In economic parlance, this exchange system implies that each transaction requires a double coincidence of one. Anyone who specialized in producing one commodity will have to spend a great deal of time searching for satisfactory transaction. This was a serious problem. The use of money as a medium of exchange lessens this problem. In an economy where money serves as a medium of exchange, sellers can sell or exchange their output for money and subsequently use the money to buy whatever they wish from others. Also, buyers can purchase, exchange what they want, and enjoy the worth of their money. The implication of monetized economy is that it requires exchange of goods and services for money and of money for goods, but not goods for goods, as in the case of barter economy. Store of value. Assuming there is no money, it means payment has to be made through barter system. When paying with simple commodities, the value of the good one has received may change without any external influence. In the money economy, the value of money will not change unless prices change. Therefore, money, apart from being a means of exchange, is also a store of value. It guarantees that other things being equal, the value of what is received now will be the same until the time of exchanging for it a desirable good or service. Unit of account or unit of payment. The use of money as a unit of payment means that it is the means of counting. When we look at a shoe and a flower, we can say that 6 flowers can be exchanged for 1 shoe. When there is another commodity, say toothbrush, we can count all goods in terms of one of the goods, say flour. Hence, 3 toothbrushes can exchange for 1 shoe. You can imagine how difficult it all becomes when we have many goods. Using money as standard of counting provides a way of circumventing such problems. It means that we measure all goods in terms of money units. By implication, we assume that money in itself is not a good, like say flour, which are desirable in themselves. In a nutshell, money as a unit of account allows us to compare prices of different goods and attach monetary value to the goods. Money and the banking system. The banking system. The banking system consists of commercial banks, merchant banks, development banks, and community banks. However, commercial banks form the largest component of banking system in an economy, and therefore are 25 of them in Nigeria. Commercial banks are business organizations owned by private individuals. Commercial banks accept deposits from individuals, businesses, and government and use those deposits to make loans. That is, commercial banks are financial intermediaries by extending credit to borrowers with the fund raised from savers. Banks, on one hand, help savers by eliminating their need to gather information about potential borrowers and by directing their savings towards high return and more productive investment. On the other hand, they help borrowers by providing access to credit that might otherwise not be available. Another important function that banks perform is making payment by depositors easier. Most banks' deposits allow the holder to write a check against them or draw on them using withdrawal forms or ATM cards. Money supply and control. In any economy, the central bank is the apex bank and it represents the monetary authority. The central bank regulates the activities of other banks and financial institutions in the economy. Central bank is responsible for supplying money into the economy. The money supply effort of the central bank is usually complemented by creation of money by commercial banks. Banks and money creation. If the economy's supply of money consists of entirely of currency, money supply is the value of currency created and circulated by the government. However, checks give the banks permission to transfer cash from the account of the person paying by check to the account of the person to whom the check is issued. With a system of payments based on checks, the cash never leaves the banking system, although they flow from one bank to another as a depositor of one bank makes a payment to a depositor in another bank. The assets of commercial banking system are the cash in the vaults of all individual banks. The habitation are the deposits of banks' customers. Cash or similar assets held by banks are called bank reserves. If banks reserve 100% of their deposits, this is called 100% reserve banking. Banking reserves are not counted as part of money supply. Bank deposit balances, which can be used in making transactions, are counted as part of money supply. It is possible that not all bank deposits are treated as a bank reserve. That is, it is only a portion of the deposit that make up the bank reserve. This is called reserve deposit ratio, and it is calculated thus: reserve divided by deposit. From the above, bank deposit can be solved for. To do so, cross-multiply the above equation and divide through by reserve deposit ratio. This yields the following: bank deposit equals bank reserve over desired reserve minus deposit ratio. Let's explain this. If deposit is 1 million, while reserve deposit ratio desired by banks be 0.10, that is 10% of total deposit, then bank deposit can be calculated thus: bank deposit equals 1 million over 0.1, which will give us 10 million naira. Money supply with currency and deposit. In some cases, citizens keep part of their money hiding in form of bank account and all the rest in the form of cash. Let us assume that 500,000 naira is held as cash while 500,000 is deposited. Then bank deposit is now 500,000 over 0.1, which is equal to 5 million. The money supply is the sum of currency in the hands of public and bank deposit. Since bank deposit is 5 million naira and currency in circulation is 5 million naira, money supply is 5 million plus 500,000, which is equal to 5,500,000. Hence, the general relationship that captures money supply with currency and deposit can be conceptualized. First, we can write out the fact that the money supply equals currency plus bank deposit, monetary policies and its instruments. The apex bank of a country has the primary responsibility of making monetary policy. Monetary policy involves decisions about the appropriate size of the country's money supply. In the case of Nigeria, Central Bank of Nigeria is the only bank that makes monetary policies. There are 3 monetary policy instruments that can be used to control money supply. These are reserve requirement, discount ratio, and open market operation. Reserve requirement. Recall that the economy's money supply depends on 3 factors: the amount of currency held by the public, the supply of bank reserves, and reserve deposit ratio. Also, note that increase in reserve deposit ratio reduces bank deposit and hence money supply. A higher reserve ratio implies that banks lend out a smaller fraction of their deposit in a particular period, thereby limiting the overall expansion of loans and deposits. Commercial banks are free to set the reserve deposit they desire to maintain. However, the CBN has the statutory authority to set minimum value of the reserve deposit for commercial banks. Reserve requirement is the minimum values of the ratio of bank reserve a bank deposit that commercial banks can be allowed to maintain. These reserves requires it to be set up by the CBN. The second instrument used by the central bank to control reserve and the money supply is the use of discount window. In some cases, individual commercial banks can be short of reserve from the central bank. Lending of reserve by the central bank to commercial bank is referred to as discount window lending. When the central bank lends out from its reserve to commercial banks, this will ultimately increase bank deposit and hence money supply. Central bank can control money supply by changing the discount rate. For instance, if the central bank intends to increase money supply, it can reduce discount rate so that commercial banks find it easy to borrow money from the actual bank reserve. Conversely, central bank decreases money supply by raising discount rates. Note that this instrument is also an indirect way of controlling money supply, in the sense that a change in discount rate will lead to a change in bank deposit and hence money supply. That is, discount rate will lead to bank deposit, more bank deposit will lead to higher money supply. Open market operation. Open market operation is an important monetary instrument used by the central bank to control money supply. Assuming that the central bank wants to raise money supply using the open market operation, the process goes thus. The central bank buys financial assets, that is, government bonds, from the public. To simplify things, let us assume that the central bank pays for the purchases with newly printed money. If the public who owns the financial instrument already owns the currency, it will deposit the cash they receive in commercial banks. This increases the reserve of commercial banks by the amount equal to the value of bond purchased by the central bank. The increase in bank reserves will lead in turn, through the process of lending and redeposit discussed earlier, to an expansion of bank deposit and the money supply. Conversely, if the central bank wants to reduce money supply, it will sell financial assets to the public, receives money equal to the value of the bond sold. This payment will be made by withdrawing money from the commercial banks. This will lead to decrease in money supply. The central bank's sales of government bonds from the public, with the result that bank reserves and the money supply are decreased, is called open market operation. The sales of instrument is called open market sales, while the purchase of instrument is called open market purchase. It turns out that open market operation appears to be the commercial and flexible tool that the central bank has for affecting money supply. Summary. In the course of this study session, you examine the concept and functions of money. You also learn how money is supplied to the economy. This is the end of study session.